The Empire Cave, or Rising Star Cave, is located 50 kilometers from the largest city in South Africa, Johannesburg. It was in its honor that a new species of primitive man was named. Naledi means star in the African language Sesotho. During excavations in the cave, researchers found hundreds of bones of ancient people. These are approximately 15 individuals, among which there are children's bones. They were located on the surface, but some bones were buried at a depth. When the bones were examined by a special analysis, it was determined that they are 335,000 years old. Most of the skeletal fragments were found in a stone cavity, which was accessed through a vertical passage only 18 centimeters wide. Homo naledi simply could not crawl into it, which means that they definitely did not live underground. Moreover, there were no tools near the remains. But then how did the bones end up in the cave? Some archaeologists are sure that there was a prehistoric burial inside. And if this can be proven, then there will be one more sensation in the scientific world. After all, it is believed that the Neanderthals were the first on the planet to bury their fellow tribesmen. Apparently, these remains were brought into the cave in several trips. That is, not simultaneously. If we assume that some animal brought the bones, this version does not fit, because there are no tooth marks on the bones. According to scientists, burial practices indicate a sufficiently high level of development of primitive society. However, how this is possible in the case of Homo naledi is a mystery shrouded in the darkness of millennia. After all, their brain is significantly smaller than that of Neanderthals. However, it is not excluded that the bones ended up underground naturally. Ancient people may have fallen into an underground trap and simply could not get out. The Rising Star Cave is far from the only mystery that the African continent has presented to scientists. For more than 1 decade, researchers have been struggling with the mystery of the Richat structure. This strange geological formation in the desert is also called the Eye of the Sahara. It was discovered from space in 1965. And this, in principle, is logical, because these circles, which resemble a human eye, an iris, have a diameter of 50 kilometers. Astronauts used it for orientation for a long time, because on this lifeless plateau of the Sahara, there is such a sandy relief, white color. And against this background, there is such a sharp contrast and such concentric circles. Scientists can only roughly estimate the age of the Richat structure. The oldest of the mysterious rings is about 500 to 600 million years old. How exactly the Richat structure was formed is still unclear. At first, geologists believed that it was the trace of an ancient meteorite impact. The shape of the circle is too clear. But in the end, this version was recognized as untenable. First, because there is no crater or funnel left in the ground. And secondly, the sedimentary rocks in this place are in a normal order. In the event of an impact or explosion, they would have mixed with each other. Then scientists proposed a version with a volcanic eruption. That is, Richat is supposedly its cone, but geologists have not found any magmatic rocks, which should have remained on the Earth's surface after the eruption. Modern scientists believe that the Eye of the Sahara appeared due to magma, which began to move to the surface from the depths of the planet. The red-hot mass could not break through to the outside. In this place, the Earth's crust turned out to be too strong. Under the pressure of the magma, it only rose. A peculiar hill of rocks was formed, somewhat resembling a volcanic dome. Subsequently, the wind and water destroyed the elevation to the base. The Earth's crust is like a layered pie of quartzite, a hard mineral, and limestone, which is softer. When the magma focus rose, these layers, which were in a horizontal position, became like this. And then, when the top was cut off and erosion continued, these layers, which are made of limestone, were washed away because they are softer, much softer than quartzite, and in the end, we are left with only concentric circles. An intriguing natural phenomenon can be seen in southwestern Africa. We are talking about the fairy circles of Namibia. These are thousands of perfectly smooth, vegetation-free spots. The diameter of such bald patches reaches from 2 to 15 meters. But the most interesting thing is that they mysteriously appear and disappear again, as if by the will of an unknown force. Because of this, they are also called Devil's Circles. The strange place is surrounded by many legends. The natives are convinced that a dragon lives underground, and its poisonous breath kills plants. For a long time, scientists did not understand why nothing grows inside the spots. Even in the rainy season, it is usually lifeless bare ground, around which everything turns green. In this form, the circles can exist for quite a long time, 40 to 50 years, and sometimes even all 70. Then, as if the phase of the cycle changes, and some grass still appears on it. At first, scientists thought that termites, which live in the Nad Desert, among other places, were to blame. Their colonies are precisely circular in shape. The insects gnaw at the roots of plants, they die, and such bald patches remain on the ground. However, later researchers put forward another hypothesis. The appearance of fairy circles in the African desert is caused by the plants themselves. This happens precisely in such harsh climatic conditions, such as a desert, when there is little moisture, when one species of plant captures the territory so that the rest do not get moisture. It fills the space in such a way that this moisture is distributed only to this plant. To confirm this version, researchers from the University of Göttingen conducted an experiment. In 2020, they installed sensors in the soil of the Namib Desert and observed the readings for 3 years. It turned out that in a particularly rainy season, the Devil's Circles were briefly overgrown, and then suddenly began to rapidly bald. Already after 10 days, the vegetation in the circles begins to wither. After 20 days, it is already completely dry, yellow. And accordingly, then, indeed, this lifeless circular space is formed. And the sensors showed that if earlier, in the very season, the soil was equally moist everywhere, then later in these circles, moisture began to disappear faster. In the theory of the origin of the fairy circles of Namibia, there are still white spots. How do the bald patches, where the grass has dried up, get such a perfect shape? And most importantly, why do plants absorb moisture from the soil exclusively in certain circular areas? There are no answers to these questions. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out a lot. And please leave a comment below. I read every single one, and your feedback means the world to me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.